I am here today not to give you any great wisdom. Certainly, we share the same struggle in keeping our kids safe and healthy and happy that you do here in this community. I think that this is a wonderful forum, and I want to encourage all of you to go away with some piece of advice or some piece of information that you feel like you learned that you can enact, because I think that in and of itself is what will help address the issue that's before all of us. I think probably what I need to do is focus a little bit on our prevention services and my role in student assistance in terms of how I serve the school and the community, just to give you an idea of what we do. I want to preface that by a couple of comments. One of them is we know studies have shown that when kids perceive that use is harmful to them, whether it be any type of drug, alcohol, tobacco, their use goes down. So as perceived harm goes up, use usually goes down. The opposite is also true. As perceived harm goes down, then use goes up. And we are facing a concerning trend nationally in this country where perceived harm is going down, and therefore statistics nationally are going up. So you're not alone in again the issue. The second thing that I'd like to share with you is that students and kids who are developing, their job is to take risks. Their brain development forces them to take risks. That's kind of how we learn. That's how we learn how to establish our boundaries. That's how we learn what we like and what we don't like. If you imagine, a toddler learning to walk, they learn how to walk. They're not fearful that they're going to fall down. If they were fearful always that they would fall down, they would never learn that skill. Likewise, adolescents go through some of the same processes. But it is also our job as adults to give boundaries and parameters, and to also give accurate information so that they can learn and educate themselves. And that's kind of what student assistance at LT is meant to do, is to provide accurate information, to provide positive social experiences like an Operation Snowball program, to provide a positive support for kids who choose not to use or choose not to take that risk, and give them other opportunities to do so in a healthy way. I organize our Freshman Experience Day program, and in some ways that is one of our true examples of how we have somewhat changed the culture of our school, because that we began about 13 years ago, and I was certainly one of the faculty naysayers in saying, they're never going to come if a grade isn't attached to it, or if they don't know anybody, or they don't have a class to go to. They're not going to come and do activities and listen to speeches. We'll never have the attendance. Well, it's grown into a very positive first day for our freshmen. And with the day, we also talk about positive decision making. We talk about, the consequences that will happen if you choose not to make positive decisions. But really, the bottom line is it's meant to create a little bit of a culture of caring, a little bit of an opportunity for kids to get connected with kids in positive ways, for underclassmen to see upperclassmen as a support of good choices. We also do the events like Red Ribbon Week, which you're, I'm sure, aware of. We also have a parent university that I'm involved in, and the idea behind Parent University is to provide parents with all sorts of parenting info and tips, and also give them an opportunity to network and share with each other in this challenging time. So we really try to focus on catching students before they get to the point of making decisions that are irreparable for themselves. We also have intervention. We certainly do programs that address students once we know that they use. We have a code of conduct that we enforce, just like you all do. We also have a student intervention team where we take referrals from the faculty, and then we check into a student's performance and see what's going on with them, and if it's determined that they may have some issues, we talk with parent and student about that. And we also have, various support groups, and I work with parents and students on an individual basis as well. But we really do try to put more emphasis on working with students before they get to a point where they really need a lot of support. I think that one of the other things I can share with you is that studies also do show that every year of delay helps kids avoid a problem in either dependency or addiction. So if they don't start drinking at 14, at 15, at 16, at 17, at 18, we see then the likelihood that there's some dependence go down. And so I always try to use that as a guiding point for the decisions in my job and what we try to do with students. So maybe somebody did make a poor choice as a freshman or a sophomore, that we work with them to try to address that, but the longer we can delay that, then the better. I guess the last thing that I would like to share is we do a social norm survey also, which is kind of addressing peer culture, and I like to use the term peer influence rather than peer pressure, because I hear from my students a lot of times that, Miss Whiting, they don't make me take a drink, or they don't make me take some substance, but it's around, and so I do choose it as a result. But the last thing I want to share for you parents in the room is that when we did a social norm survey, the number one reason that students said that they did not use is because of the belief of their parents and the messages that their parents gave them. And actually, they didn't want me to share that because they didn't want that to seem too nerdy. But indeed, you are an influence in your kid's life. So thank you for the invitation, and good luck with everything.